What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Deluxe Class Sideswipe from both the War for Cybertron as well as Fall of Cybertron games. I know it says War for Cybertron, but Sideswipe didn't really change between games. So here we do have Sideswipe, and let's take a look at the box. This is a figure I've been looking forward to a fair bit, and I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. So, got some nice artwork there of Sideswipe from the original game. Then we obviously have the nice Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers Generations. You do have the nice Transformers logo there. Number 7 of the Gamer Edition. Obviously, you have the Gamer Edition stuff down here with the Sideswipe and the Autobot logo as well. Taking a look here on the side, just some more nice artwork. Studio Series number 7 again. Deluxe class down here in all the different languages as well. And then we do turn it around here. You have the D-pad there, and you do have more nice artwork of what we've seen before. And finally, you do have your obligatory product shots. And that's really nice. Transforms in 24 steps. And then the background, I believe, is in Kaon, in the prison break mission that you end up having in that game. So really cool stuff overall. Very happy with the box. And without further ado, alrighty guys, here we have the Transformers Studios Series Gamer Edition Deluxe Class War for Cybertron / Fall of Cybertron Sideswipe in his vehicle mode. And I gotta say, they got this pretty spot on. Now, as you can see, you can actually clip the gun into this. This is the Photon Burst Rifle. I'll see if I can put a picture of this on screen. So here is the actual, here's the gun, and then here's the gun from the actual game. Will be somewhere right here. And what's really nice about this is the molded detail. This looks exactly how it did. The only thing is there's lack of paint. Although it is painted nice as the base color, there was a bunch of blue energon that you could see in the gun in the game, and that's obviously not present here. It's a deluxe figure. What are you going to do? But I do think it is molded very nicely. You do have that little peg right there, and then you just do have this little slot here at the top of the vehicle mode, and then you can just very easily plug this in. It looks absolutely ridiculous, and it really doesn't need to be pegged into... Actually, sorry, not that tab. My apologies, that tab further up there, you can plug that in like so. And you should be good to go. It looks, again, looks ridiculous. You can have it for weapon storage if you're just, playing with it, traveling with it for like a kid or something like that. But other than that, for me, not going to end up using it like that. But taking a look at the vehicle mode, like I said, it is pretty spot on. So real quick, I will put this guy here, and then here's a picture of the actual vehicle mode from the actual game. As you can see, pretty spot on. Like, I don't really see any major differences. I even have the picture that I'm going to put up pulled up on my second monitor that I'm looking at on the right side of your screen and my screen. And it looks pretty much spot on. Like, I have no issues with it. So, taking a look here, you can do see the nice rims here. These are very accurate to how they looked in the game. This nice energon red and everything like that, and the rims, very cool Cybertronian sports car. Very much can understand why he would take the vehicle mode of being a Lamborghini Countach when he came to Earth, but I do have the nice Autobot logo right there. Very nice. Nice silver paint as well. The red is very nice. It's like this deep, rich red. It's pretty much the same as Optimus, but I don't know. There's something a little bit different about it. Maybe it's a little darker than Prime's. I'll end up really showing that in the comparison, but overall, really solid there. You do have the nice Autobot logo, which will eventually become his chest here. Some more nice silver paint. Overall, nice molded detail as well. You can see some very nice molded details there. Nothing crazy, but the War for Cybertron vehicle modes were very much kind of smooth, very silky, kind of very clean looking, other than maybe the battle damage on them. Other than that, they were very sleek, smooth, everything like that. But all the details look to me to be very accurate, and so I am very happy with how this guy turned out in his vehicle mode. And so, like I mentioned to you, we're going to do some comparisons, and so we'll set Sideswipe off to the side there. First comparison we have here is with the Deluxe Class Gamer Edition Bumblebee. Actually, let me plug that down a little bit. There we go. These two look solid together. Obviously, Bumblebee is going to be a bit smaller because he is Bumblebee, but he is wider. Sideswipe's obviously a longer vehicle, but as you can see, Bumblebee is overall a smaller vehicle. Still looks really good together. These two had some time together in their missions and some really solid stuff. So overall, very happy with the scale. Can't really complain about it. Alrighty, folks, the next comparison that we have here is with the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Voyager Class Starscream. As you can see with Starscream, he is obviously going to be significantly bigger than Sideswipe, but they do scale well together. This is how I assume that this would look together. There's no real shots in the game that really delineate, the scale between Starscream's jet mode as well as Sideswipe's car mode, but for the most part, from playing the game so much, I can tell you that for the most part, this is pretty accurate. I don't see anything absolutely wrong with it. Again, Voyager, Deluxe, makes sense to me. Overall, pretty solid stuff. Alright, and finally, the last comparison is with the Autobot leader, Optimus Prime. And as you can see, like I told you, there's a slight, I don't know, there might not be, there might be. To me, there's a slight difference between the reds, but obviously, big chunk Voyager, much smaller Deluxe. These two have a big size difference, but again, this is accurate. You know, Optimus Prime, being the leader and being a Voyager, should be a bit bigger and chunkier than, obviously, a smaller Deluxe figure. Overall, when it comes to the scale and the vehicle modes, can't really complain. Pretty solid stuff. Alrighty, folks, and time to get into the transformation, and this is where this guy succeeds in comparison to all of the other Gamer Edition figures, and I mean all of them, even including Starscream. I actually think this guy has the best transformation out of all of them. It's not frustrating, there's no real frustrating parts to it. It is also decently involved without being frustrating, and overall, I am very, very much happy with how this guy transforms. So the first thing I like to do is to come here, we take this section here, and you can untab it, and then you just rotate it around like so. Then from here, what we can do is we can untab these sections. Now, these sections do peg in rather tight, so just be careful when you're unpegging them. But essentially, as you can see, this pegs into one of the sides here, one of the sides of the car. So you're just going to want to slightly try and pull that off. Again, that peg can be rather tight, but just be careful pulling it off. But make sure to pull it off here if you can, and without ruining anything, like so. I like to twist it as well, so you can, there we go. Just had to get that leverage, so you have that. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take these sections, and essentially, you're going to want to rotate from the bottom, or excuse me, lift this up. I don't know why I'm stupid. Lift this up, and you're going to rotate what will become the legs down, like so. Now, to do the legs, it's actually pretty cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to rotate these sections, and then what you'll notice is that there's this little groove section right there, and then when you fold this part of the leg in, you're going to see that this should just sort of slot right into place. Now, it doesn't tab into place or anything, but that will just rest in there and make sure it is secure. Then what you're going to do is that same tab hole, so this tab hole in here was used to peg into the side of what was the arm. In vehicle mode, you're just going to want to rotate this around and then use that tab, and you'll see there is the peg hole, and then there's that new tab there, and you're just going to want to peg that in. Do the same here, so rotate this around, make sure you get that little groove section, fold this in, rotate this all the way around, and then just peg that in. And then what you can do is just fold the feet down and then rotate the waist forward, and here is basically the bottom half of the robot mode all done. Then what you're going to want to do is going to take this section, you're going to want to see and take a look at the wheels. You'll see that either side has a tab hole, and then you'll notice these sections have tabs perfectly suited to fit in those holes. So you're going to want to rotate the wheel so that that's facing the tab hole and the tab itself, and then you're just going to peg those in. Same thing here, so rotate that, make sure that that's going to be pegged in like this. And then from here, what you're going to want to do on this part of the robot is you're going to want to split this part, and you're going to take this chest section, rotate it down, and then it's on a hinge, like a double hinge, and then you're just going to press that in. And then from here, what you're also going to want to do is lift this back and rotate the head out, and what you'll notice is that essentially that little tab there in the neck will tab into that gray bit here, so you're just going to want to rotate that down and then just make sure it goes like this. Then what you're going to want to do, you can untab the chest here, fold these down, and then rotate these down, and then these sections will tab into the sides there. You can see that these are perfectly suited to fit in there, so you're just going to tab those in like so, and then reclose the chest up. And then from here, easiest thing to do, rotate the arms forward and fold the fists out. Tape the arms forward, fold the fists out, like so, and then just sort of adjust everything, maybe push this down a little bit. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Studios Series Gamer Edition Deluxe Class Sideswipe from War for Cybertron as well as Fall for Cybertron in this pretty damn cool looking robot mode. Overall, guys, when it comes to the robot mode for this guy, it's not perfect, but I will say it is pretty damn good. There are two major issues I personally have with it. So what I'll do to explain those is I will put this guy off to the side here, and I'll put a picture of Sideswipe right here. The issue that I have is when you're looking at these side by side, and I even have the official artwork of Sideswipe from the game pulled up here on my monitor, like I did with the vehicle mode. The issue I have are two things. The feet look really funky. Now, don't get me wrong, they are engineered so that he can stand relatively well, and I can't deny that that's the case. This guy actually stands really, really well. However, that makes it so that the feet look really funky, and they don't look good in my opinion. In addition to, they kind of look like insect feet, actually, if you really want me to be truthful. In addition to that, when it comes to the upper torso section, so his shoulders and his chest, it's a bit wide. I think that Sideswipe in the game was a little skinnier than this. If they found a way to push it in just a little more, I would have been more happy with that, as well as sort of maybe shrink everything just by a tiny bit, because this guy is really chunky in the upper part of the body. Now, the back section is relatively accurate. I don't think necessarily the most accurate, especially as someone who played a lot of the chassis of Sideswipe in the multiplayer section. It is still relatively accurate. It's just, man, I really do wish that his upper torso was a bit thinner. Now, does this make or break the figure? No. Am I nitpicking on this? You could argue, obviously, yes. And if you want to say that I am nitpicking, the reason I am nitpicking, and I'll give you the explanation, is because I love this game series. I love the High Moon Transformers games, from even the Dark of the Moon one to War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. Especially for the Cybertron games, they did smash hits with these. They were absolutely fantastic and amazing games in and of their own right. And so I really wish that they were done a little more justice, which is why I'm being critical of them. And plus, I have over, nearly 600-700 hours in Transformers War for Cybertron alone. And so, when it comes to this game, and these characters, I really wish it was a little more accurate. Again, am I nitpicking? Probably. Do I have a reason? Yes. I just wish it was a little more accurate. But again, it doesn't make or break the figure. It still looks really solid otherwise. So taking a look at the details here, the very awesome Sideswipe head, very accurate to the game. Can't complain about that. You do have the very accurate chest with the Autobot logo, the nice silver paint there. All that detail comes out. You also get some additional detail here in the wrist sections with the and the forearms with this little silver paint. The joints and everything are painted this dark gray, very similar to how the wheels are painted, as well as the head. The backpack is actually relatively nice. So if we look at the side profile of this guy, the backpack is actually pretty nice. It's nothing too obtrusive. This is the only thing that's really obtrusive, but it's accurate to how it was in the game for the most part. And then the legs, very nice. You do have the nice silver details here as well. And then you do have some nice molded detail going here. Again, my only issue is how these feet look. They just, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. I like and appreciate the gap fillers here. These just look really funky like this. And again, it's not all bad at all. Like I said, nitpicking, but at the end of the day, I am here to point out those inaccuracies as someone who loved these games very much. And so, for some comparisons, we're actually going to put Sideswipe off to the back there. Alrighty, folks, here we have the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Gamer Edition Sideswipe with the Deluxe Class Bumblebee. As you can see, these two scale very nicely together. Bumblebee is obviously should be a tad bit shorter than Sideswipe as a character, especially in the games, and obviously when it comes to Bumblebee, he should just be a smaller character in general, so this scale works out pretty solidly. Next, here we have him with the Voyager class Starscream. Again, this is a pretty solid scale. Starscream should be a bigger character, but not that much bigger, but obviously Voyager versus Deluxe, I think this works out relatively nicely. And finally, here he is with the leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime. And as you can see, these two look very nicely together. Look very nice together. Obviously, the leader of the Autobots and one of his soldiers, very, very good stuff. And obviously, one of the most prominent and one of the most famous soldiers, Sideswipe. Awesome scale. Alrighty, and with that all the way, it's time to get into some of the features and accessories, and mainly it's with obviously the Photon Burst Rifle. What you can do with any of the other figures from the Gamer Edition line, you can pull off his arm. So we'll just try our best to pull that off. And then you can obviously take this and you can just plug that right in. And there you have him with the Photon Burst Rifle. And it looks pretty solid. It just, in my opinion, does look a tad large on him. And you can store this on the back. Now, you can plug it in there or try to, but for some reason, this peg in particular is the one that's supposed to go on, but mine is slightly too big. And what ends up happening is it just pops out. So I just use the other peg that's meant for transformation, and I just peg it in like that, and that's how I end up pegging it in. But it is nice that they do add that functionality, because not all of them, like Starscream, doesn't have that ability to do that, and I don't think neither do Bumblebee, Cliff, or Cliff Jumper. I'm not sure if I don't think Megatron. I don't know. I don't remember if Megatron had it, but off the top of my head, I know Bumblebee and Starscream and Cliffjumper do not have that. So it's very nice for them to include that, and I think that they should be doing that with all of the Gamer Edition figures. But with that out of the way, you can then just pull that off and then grab the arm, and then we can just peg that right back on like so. And we can just get right into the articulation, which is pretty solid. Head is on a ball joint, so you can get minimal up and down. It's not the best articulation. It's pretty standard. We'll do a full 360. You can look down. You can look not really up, but you get a full 360 here at the shoulder. You do get a bicep swivel. You do get a little more than 90 degrees at the elbow, and you do not get articulated wrists, which does suck. But you do get the full waist, but unfortunately, it's a bit blocked by this, so you're going to have to remove that, or at least move it out of the way to get the full waist rotation. And then what you can also do for the legs, you can kick forward, you can kick back. It is inhibited by the backpack, but you know, that's to be expected. Then you do get 90, a little more than 90 here at the knee. You do get upper thigh rotation, and then you don't really get some ankle articulation. That's the only issue that I have actually with the major parts of the articulation, is really the lack of ankle. Even though he does stand very well, the lack of ankle really does kind of suck. Other than that, pretty standard articulation all around. Maybe a little below average, but not awful in any way. You can still get some pretty nice poses out of this guy. Alrighty, folks, and with that out of the way, let's get into the reverse transformation, which really isn't all that bad. Again, pretty decently involved, but not frustrating in any sort of way, in my opinion. So, to get into this, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out everything here. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to untab the wheel so we can start to get those out of the way. Then untab the chest and fold that out and accordion it like so. Then you're going to take the head and then you're going to untab it like so, and then just push it down. It is a little bit of a tight fit, but you'll be able to do it. You just pull the back out, fold the head down, and what you can do, take the arms and separate those. You can fold the gray bits up and straight, and then fold this bit up and straight. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fold it up like so, and then you're going to want to fold the gray bits over that small little joint here, and then these will peg in like so, together like this. And then you will get the full peg in like that. And then from here, what you're also going to do is you're going to take the wrists and you're going to fold those in, or the hands at least. You're going to rotate them to the side, and what you'll see is that peg that I showed you that pegs it onto the back, that I used to peg the arm onto the back, will then peg into this slot right there. So very easy there, like so. Do the same here, rotate it to the side, and then just peg this all in. Make sure everything is squeezed together very nicely, and then just rotate these down. And then what you're going to want to do here, for the legs, we're going to start off by folding the feet down and then rotating these sections and then untabbing them and rotating them down. And then you're going to untab these sections, rotate both of these sections like so. Then what you're going to want to do is, you can try and tab them together right now. I'll try my best to, but you can do that. Rotate the waist around, and then what you're going to want to do is rotate both of these inward. So like this, that, and like that, like so. And if you didn't have them tabbed together already, what you're going to want to do is try to have them tabbed together like that. You're going to want to fold all that in, and that looks really nice. That's really clean there. And then from here, what you're going to want to do, like those I showed you when transforming it too, you're going to want to find those tabs on the sides of the arms. You're just going to do your best to line this all up and get those to tab in like so. Again, same thing on this side here. Try to line it up so that you can. That one's being a little bit of a pain right now. Nothing there we go. Very easy there. And then all you got to do is fold this part of the car down. Push it down, rotate this around, and then you see these little hooks on either side of the car, and you're just going to want to line these all up. Peg those in like so. And what you can do is you can peg these little slots into tabs right next to the wheels, but I don't, because it allows him to roll better. So overall, that is really it. And so without further ado, there is the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Deluxe Class Sideswipe. back in his awesome Cybertronian sports car mode. And so, folks, for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Studios series, Gamer Edition Deluxe Class Sideswipe from War for Cybertron as well as Fall of Cybertron, this is a pretty damn good figure. This is not without its faults, though, so let's get the bad out of the way first. I do think that the fact that the arm can't tab with the tab that it's intended to tab onto the back when you actually take the arm off to put the gun on it, that's a bit annoying. I don't know if that's the same on your copies, but that's annoying for me. The other two major issues I have are the look of the feet as well as the proportions of the torso in relation to the rest of the body. The feet, I think, look lanky and they look like insect feet, and then when it comes to the torso, I just think it's a bit too chubby and a bit too chunky. I think he's a little too wide. Right? I think he's too wide. I think he needs to be more streamlined, as well as the backpack, although is relatively accurate, it still has some inaccuracies when it comes to the back and how it looks. Now, I know it's a deluxe budget, but at the same time, I would really like these characters to be done justice. And although I do think that Sideswipe is probably one of the best, if not the best, next to Starscream and Optimus Prime as the best Gamer Edition figure, at the end of the day, when it comes to this figure, it's still a little bit inaccurate. It is not as accurate as it could be overall. Good stuff, though. The paint is really nice. I like the details as well. The vehicle mode is an absolute smash hit. The transformation from vehicle or robot into the other forms is really nice. It's not frustrating, but it's still more involved than you would expect from a deluxe class figure, especially in the Gamer Edition line. God, Bumblebee is such a pain in the nuts. I hate transforming this. But with this guy, it's absolutely, it's fine, and I very much enjoy it. The robot mode, again, despite the flaws I do have with it, at the end of the day, those aren't nitpicky. Everything else looks solid. The head sculpt is really good. The accessory integration is pretty solid. In addition to that, the Autobot logos look great. The paint looks great. The details look good. And he's relatively accurate to how he looked on screen. Well, in the game, at the very least. So overall, a really solid figure, and I do honestly recommend you guys go and pick this guy up. Now, when it comes to this figure, out of a 10, I gotta give this guy probably a 7 or an 8, probably leaning closer to an 8. I will say that the issues I do have with it, again, are nitpicking as someone who's played this game for many hours and played through it so many times and played a ton of multiplayer. That's just my personal opinion. I just want to see these characters done justice. You could argue a 7, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. So, overall, yeah, 7, 8 out of 10 for this figure. I did pick mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll leave a link in the description to that. I'll also see if I can find links to both Hasbro Pulse as well as Amazon, so you guys can pick it up at other retailers, say you have an Amazon Prime or something like that. And when it comes to retail, this guy should be hitting retailers relatively soon, within the next couple months or so, to my understanding. Maybe you guys have already found him in store, maybe he's hitting your stores now. I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up with like the in-store releases because I really just buy all my stuff online. But if you do hunt this guy IRL, I do wish you the best of luck, and I hope you find him sometime soon. But without anything else to say, I think that's about it. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, and also follow me in the socials. Those will be linked down in the description below. And with that, guys, I once again thank you so much for taking the time to watch this review, and I will catch you all in the next video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.